Congressman, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's just start right there. President Zelensky has called on the world to react in the wake of at least 400 bodies found in that mass grave in Izum, what Richard Engel just described, those horrifying details. What is the United States' responsibility here, both morally and militarily? What should the U.S. do?
Well, number one, we've got to make sure that Vladimir Putin and his generals and others that are commanding this horrendous atrocity and clearly violations of human rights and war crimes is held accountable. And so the United States should help, as we have done just the other day. One of our subcommittees on the Foreign Affairs Committee has had the Ukrainian prosecutor in so that we can preserve all of the evidence that has been retrieved, all of the graves, everything that we have been that you've been reporting, so that we can hold Vladimir Putin and his and his accomplices accountable for this horrific war crimes that he's continued to commit on the people of Ukraine.
But, Congressman, is an investigation enough? Is now the time for more sanctions, perhaps, or stronger action, given what we're seeing, these atrocities?
Look, let me just tell you, the United States has clearly, and we're working to make sure that Russia does not get around any of the sanctions that we put in place. And what is key is that they are multilateral sanctions, not just sanctions of the United States. And I think that's one of the reasons why President Biden has to be applauded, because he's been able to keep all of our allies strong and to make sure that when you talk about sanctions, there's no way around it. And then when we look at some of those countries who may not be cooperating, that we will then look at them and hold them accountable also. It's called accountability, and we're doing that. And then on top of that, we're giving the Ukrainians the weapons that they need to defend themselves. I met with the Prime Minister of Ukraine just yesterday, and the first thing he said was thank you. Thank you for the weapons that we provided, the security that we've provided, the information and the training of Ukrainian soldiers that we provided. He's saying that they would not be where they are now without the United States, and the United States leading and bringing our allies together, and ask us to continue to do the same. And that's why we're looking in our appropriation cycle of appropriating more and looking at where, because of the offense that the Ukrainians have made and the changing of weather, what changes do we need to make so that we can continue to make sure we're supporting them? No one thought we'd be where we are now, 7 months since this invasion started.
Yeah, and let me follow up with you on that point. I mean, the U.S. has committed more than $15 billion, 21 separate aid packages. There is no doubt that the U.S. has given, and yet President Zelensky says he needs more. He says they're making gains, and we have all seen that play out. Is the United States prepared to keep giving more, even if our allies don't? You talked about the need to keep everyone unified, but what if the United States can't keep its allies unified on this point? Is the U.S. prepared to go it alone, particularly with Europe, for example, bracing for a potential recession?
There doesn't seem to be a what if, because as I talk to our European allies, they seem to be as locked in as we are. One of the things that UNGA has done, bringing all the world leaders together, and I think it's a timely fashion, is that they have a chance to speak together. And I have a chance as chair.
Congressman, you anticipate that will continue even if Europe suffers an even deeper economic downturn? You're confident?
Yes, I'm confident of just that. And talking to them, they understand what's at stake, democracy itself. And if Russia is allowed to continue to invade and take over territory in Ukraine, they know that they could be next. So therefore, the suffering that they may have, and we've got to understand that in the United States, that's why we've got to lock in together so that we can make sure our allies are now preparing new LNG pipelines, etc., so they will never, ever again be dependent upon Russian energy. So all of that is taking place. They've realized the dangers of the horror of which the aggression of Vladimir Putin has perpetuated on them. And so therefore they understand that the only way we win this is standing strong together.
And Congressman, I know that you have said in past comments that you agree with President Biden, who, by the way, reiterated again this weekend in a 60 Minutes interview that there should be severe consequences. There will be if Vladimir Putin uses chemical or nuclear weapons. Can you be specific, though? What should the repercussions be?
No, I can't be specific because some of those things that may have been talked about, I won't say that there was or not, has been classified. We're not going to, give to them what we would do, as the president indicated in his interview. But there will be severe consequences should Vladimir Putin decide to cross that line and utilize nuclear and/or chemical weapons. And it won't be just by the United States.
Yeah, President Biden says sending troops still off the table for him. Should it be? Do you continue to think now, as this war enters its 7 months, sending in U.S. troops should still be off the table?
Yes, I do. I think that, we've got a rule that we should we do talk about. Should Vladimir Putin cross that line and to any of our NATO allies, then there will be a different scenario. But right now, with the unity that we've seen, with all that we support that we've given Ukraine, when folks thought in the beginning that it would take Russia only a couple of weeks to defeat them, it is our help, along with our allies, that we're here 7 months, and we now see Ukrainian offensive taking place, and many of the territories that were taken is now with the counter offensive, the Ukrainians are taking them back. And so it's good.
Congressman, let me ask you about another issue that's going to loom very large over UNGA, of course, the global pandemic. I want to play what President Biden had to say about that in that 60 Minutes interview.
Is the pandemic over?
The pandemic is over. We still have a problem with COVID. We're still doing a lot of work on it. But the pandemic is over.
Is it over, Congressman? There's still 300 deaths per day due to COVID.
Yeah, coming from where the epicenter of the pandemic was in New York City, when every day somebody that I knew was losing their life because of the pandemic. When we did not have any vaccines or anything else, we were wondering what was taking place. And remember, we were wearing gloves and did not know what to do, and people were stripping when they got into their homes. That essence of the pandemic is over, and that's why we now...
Congressman, does it make it harder to secure more funding to fight COVID? Republicans are already balking. They're already saying, well, if it's over, then there's no reason that we should sign on to this plans for more COVID funding.
So we said the pandemic was over. And that's what the president said. He didn't say that COVID was over. And the way that COVID is over, and we make sure, is the funding for vaccines to prevent COVID from happening. Is the flu pandemic over? Yes, it is. But do we still make sure that we fund flu vaccines so that people will not get the flu? Yes, we do. And I think so that the pandemic is over. Is COVID over? Absolutely not. We've got to continue to do and encourage individuals to take the vaccines and funding for vaccines so that we can make sure they are protected from COVID. But the pandemic, as I saw it from firsthand as a New Yorker, when we were in the height of the pandemic, that is not taking place anymore.
All right, Congressman, one last question before I let you go. As you know, President Biden seemed to leave the door open to not running again in 2024 in that same interview. Do you think that President Biden is the strongest person to represent the Democratic Party in 2024? And do you want to see him run again?
I do. Let's look at his accomplishments. Number one, accomplishments that never happened before, because no president had to deal with the pandemic at that time and the crises that it created and the war of the aggression of Vladimir Putin, and to try to pass the kinds of bills that he did with a 4 to 5 vote majority in the House and a 50-50 Senate. And the promises that he made when he ran initially, he's kept them. If you're talking about fighting for some gun control, the most meaningful gun control has been done under who? Joe Biden. The bipartisan infrastructure bill, did he get that done? Absolutely. The IRA bill, the Inflation Reduction Act, did he pass that? Absolutely. Are we fighting collectively to keep the NATO allies together in this war? Absolutely. The camera of history will record Joe Biden as doing a great thing. And I think that the results is there, and therefore he's done the work and kept the promises, and he should be reelected president of the United States.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.